Oh, hello there. We are live, I think. I hope so. Hello. Is this thing on? Oh, look, there's a magic. What's up? So we are live. Hey, friends. Firstly, just a quick apology for Monday. Unfortunately, didn't stream Monday night, as I ended up in hospital Monday morning for a few hours, and then I was a weirdo for the next 3 or 4 days, for the next 2 or 3 days. So apologies for tonight. If
nothing's changed,
you shush you, or you'll die. So apologies for tonight if I seem a little distracted or just a little bit out of sorts. I'm still not quite there, but better than what I was. So hopefully we can hand over most of the RP stuff to these guys, and I won't have to do a whole lot, which would be good. I don't have to really think about anything, which makes it easier for me. But Sunday night, our little mini adventure start went exceptionally well. We had a great night with our players, and the RP was awesome. I think Hexakara took a few people by surprise, but it was great fun. Everyone enjoyed themselves, including JJ. He shot me a message after the show and said he thoroughly enjoyed it and looks forward to doing some more in the coming weeks with that. So that'll be cool. So hopefully you guys in the chat also enjoyed it as much as the players did. I'm not sure about tomorrow night yet, so we'll play that by ear. Keep an eye on the Discord. I won't know what I'm doing yet until tomorrow. See how I feel. But I've been playing a little bit of the Vampire Masquerade Blood Hunt today, which has been a cool little game. Should give it a shot. Free to play on Steam. Early access started today, so I think it's only like 16 gig download, 16, 17 gig or so. Not a big download.
16.
But pretty good game. 4-player teams, I believe, which you can invite your friends, which is pretty cool. I did have a couple of games with a couple of mates earlier today and enjoyed it. Died lots, but it was fun anyway. So, in saying that, I suppose we should get down to the nitty gritties and get down to tonight's episode of the Curse of Strahd, episode 51, I believe. So, last we left off, you had travelled back to Argynvost and found the holy symbol of Ravenkind after the demise of Emilia. As you were readying yourself to continue your journey and exiting the manor, none other than Strahd himself appears before you all out of the mist, surrounded by dozens upon dozens of his undead minions. Stepping out of the mist, he offers you a challenge, specifically to Karnos. One-on-one challenge. Essentially defeating him, he offered your freedom. But if you lost, he would take the sword in his tome in return. After a little bit of discussions, back and forwards with the group, and Fibblestib painting a rather large target on his back by shushing Lord Strahd, the offer was declined. At that, Strahd raises a hand, disappears into the mist as his hordes surge forward towards the manor, forcing you back inside. Once inside, you barricade yourselves into the wine room initially, pushing the large barrels against the doorways in an attempt to stop the hordes from getting in. One or two manage to break through, and you manage to pick them off until Zadriel, taking a minute to cast a Radiance spell, manages to hold them off for some time. The attack ceases for a while, long enough for you to make your exit from this small room, deciding to head to the tower, which you believe would be the safest place in the house to hold up. Reaching the top of the tower, you destroy a section of the stairway. For the next few hours, for a time, zombies and all manner of creatures would descend on the house all around, and the tower, constantly, the constant droning noise always in your ears, would stop for a short time and then restart. Throughout the evening this continued. Unfortunately, with this, you were unable to rest and unable to sleep soundly for any length of time. Maybe a few dozings off here and there, but nothing substantial. During one of those dozings, however, Adok had a visitor from someone he didn't expect. And as dawn approaches, we now rejoin our group, sitting in the tower. Focus shifts to Zadriel, who's been seated in some respects, trying to rest, in others kneeling, mumbling over her tenants constantly throughout the night, on and off. Karnos joining her on occasion as well. We now focus on Zadriel specifically, as she starts going over her tenants once again.
Zadriel usually is quiet when she goes over her tenants, but she starts to get off track with the night and starts kind of talking to herself, but loud enough for everyone to hear. And she is saying, Mirabelle, Emilia, I sat by and did nothing. You only wanted someone to talk to. I knew things were getting worse. I should have moved faster, fought harder, for all of us. Be the light. I've been worrying about keeping us happy, and now no one is. Falcon asked me to stay. I should have stayed. I should have made Feeble stay. Kindle the light. You are the closest to heaven I will ever get to see, and now you are gone. All of you are gone. I took so long worrying about doing the right thing that the right thing to do has slipped away. And now a vampire is wreaking havoc throughout this land because I failed to stop him. I can't bring you back, but maybe someone else can. If I have to sacrifice my own righteousness to bring justice, so be it. My father was right. There's no joy or light that fights evil. Not anymore. Only vengeance. Help me, DM. Help me, or get out of my way while I finish this by any means necessary. And I slam my hammer down, and I pray with all my power as my wings slowly unfurl.
And as the thunderous sound of the hammer hits the concrete of the tower, echoing in this small space, Zadriel slowly raises to her feet, and as her wings start to unfurl, the first thing you will notice is that radiant glow, that radiant yellow and white and slightly orange glow that you normally saw from her wings is no longer present, as they seem dark, almost ash grey at this point. And they start to slowly unfurl, and as she stands up, lets out an enormous battle cry, and her wings just ignite in a radiant flame, orange and red, right out to the tips. And so much so that the heat from the flame could be felt in the room. And her eyes just blister in a radiant holy light. Red ember where the iris would be. And she's just standing there, just aglow with this radiant energy. Very different than what you know, or what you all knew and have seen. A very different look comes over Zadriel's face as she turns to face you all.
Are you alright there?
I am fine.
Can I check your arms and legs and any skin that's showing? Did you get bit?
No, Ganos, I did not get bit. I do not think I got bit.
Adok, check her. I think she got bit.
Bit by what?
Emilia or Strahd or Stramalia when they're combined.
Yeah, she got bit when Emilia fed off her. But I don't think this is that.
I don't think this is that either.
I think this is... She's pissed off. Really pissed off. At Strahd.
Oh yeah. Well, probably you, Phil.
Probably, yeah. I get on people's nerves.
Are you, Zadriel? You gonna be alright? Alright.
We're going to kill him. We're going to get to the castle eventually, and we are going to kill him. I don't care how we do it. We're done meddling around towns, drinking. Sorry, Kanos. We're done. We're going to get to this Krezk or whatever, find what we need to do to kill him. That's it. And then we're going to get out of here.
That was the goal. Just more so. Now.
And if we can find a way to keep Emilia from making the Walk of the Dead, it would be good. We have 2 artificers here. Maybe they can come up with something. People? You are supposed to be a genius?
I'm thinking on it. Don't just peer in your head. It's like, ding!
Mechanical girl, maybe?
You know how much metal that would take? And at the same time, you need an in particular forge to make that type of a thing. Yeah, I know you don't know. But just take it from me. We don't have access to that type of thing here.
You are going to make Kanos into a mechanical boy?
Yeah, not now. That was a long-term plan.
Maybe we could put her in the bear. I have her ashes.
See?
I don't know much about bringing things back like spirits or whatever and putting it into some sort of body, but is that even possible?
What? Sticking ashes into a body? Yeah, that's easy. Here, come here, I'll show you.
Don't come anywhere near me with your ash. I'm more thinking you're trying to... what's the word? You're trying to make the essence of Emilia take over the bear, we're saying? That's not... I mean, you can't make it come to life and be her, right? That's what we're...
What bear?
Zadriel, you said a bear, didn't you?
I was thinking his teddy bear. Or
What?
something. Or
The
you
what?
have an owl. You could put it in your owl.
No.
He's not doing anything.
He's doing a lot, but you just don't understand it.
Oh, I don't understand it.
Yeah, he helps me out. It's me. My thing.
So what we do is, with the bear, we take the stuffing out of the bear, put the ash in the bear. No? Doesn't work that way?
You keep on referring to this bear, which currently is just a leg. Isn't it?
No.
No, by the powers of the DM, he has a new bear. The same bear, resurrected bear.
Zadriel, does this fit with your new tenants?
My tenants are to kill Strahd. I'm going to kill him.
Right. Now, you were sort of going over him a bit there. Now,
I'm not going to. I've taken on a new light. I think light is a manner of perspective, and what I've been doing has been getting people I love killed. I am focusing that light on taking him out.
Carlos looks to Adok. Adok, you've been rather quiet there, mate. Are you doing the good?
Is anyone looking at what I'm seeing? Has he changed colour, or is that me? I haven't slept for a while, so I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, she's changed colour. That's how you know she's angry or
Right.
dead serious. So,
Like a scream as well. You know, I used to know there's like an alien race that used to scream and then change colour as well when they got angry. Usually,
Really?
yeah, it was like their hair that used to change colour and stand up.
That's impressive. Where was this alien race from?
I don't know, the cosmos.
Zadriel, are you an alien?
If you think Anathema is an alien, then yes.
You said you have Emily as Ash, right?
Feeble has it.
Fibble has it. Yeah. And you plan on putting the Emily's essence from the ash into something so she can commune with us?
I don't plan on anything. I'm asking the two tinkerers here to do something.
It's not Ash that we need. It's Fibble knows this as well. He's just playing around. It's a soul. We need to put a soul into something that can hold a soul, and then we need to put that thing into something else, and then connect that thing to the thing that's holding her soul, and then hopefully a little bit more enchanting, then that thing should then activate.
So, hold the soul with the ash, put the ash in the bear, you got the bear.
It's not that, yeah, but it's not the ash. The ash is not what you need. It's a soul. Ash is just ash.
So, let me get it straight. Ash, soul. Which one?
Soul. No
Soul.
ash.
No ash.
You can throw
Just
the
soul.
ash away. Fibble, just throw it out the window. It's fine. We don't need it.
No!
Or don't throw it out the window. Either way. But we need something to house this. At the moment, what is your little owl using to like move around? What is that?
it's a crystal.
Yeah.
Then we use that crystal, yeah?
You can't use this crystal
Why not?
because it's imbued with me.
Right.
So,
Well, we could-
unimpure it. No?
No.
Okay.
Why are you talking? Yes, you can. You can do that. You
No,
absolutely can.
No, I can't.
You just don't want to.
Yes.
Fibble,
So-
It took me a lot of work to get this fucking thing to work.
I don't know if I'm Carlos is sort of looking around the group quizzically, including Zadriel, and he's like, are we going fucking mad? So the point is, you take this ash soul and put it into the
No ash.
owl, and then what do we expect to happen here? We killed her.
No,
Get that-
no.
You need to get that through your head.
put
We
soul-
killed her.
We put the soul in the bear, walking, talking bear. Maybe.
No,
You
it's
can't-
not- Yeah.
Can't
Yeah,
get something
be a
back
bear
you've
soul.
lost.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, Scathus. Smart bear soul.
All right, Carlos, you know how to DM. You believe in the DM, right?
Yeah.
So do you believe? And you've seen ghosts. You've seen that here.
Well, I mean, goes to a point, right?
Do you believe in ghosts, or spirits?
Well, I've seen them, so I kind of have to, I suppose, right?
Right, well, there you go. So, essentially, Emilia is still here, somewhere around us. Probably right next to you. Whisper.
There's an order of things, Adok. You live, like you're born, you live, you die. And correct me if I'm wrong, Zadriel. Once death happens, that's it. There
I'm
is no-
correcting. You can get resurrected
Why would you want to do that?
to live again.
So if everyone did that, this flat space of world we live on would be full of people and no one would ever be dead, and the cycle of life would never complete.
If she dies here, she will be stuck here forever. At least she'll have a chance to leave and die and be buried at peace back home.
So why don't we take the soul, instead of putting it into something that makes it alive and yippity-dippity talkies, we take the soul back when we leave, after we kill Strahd. Easy
Well-
done. Won't everyone be released then?
Well, I mean, we don't really know what's going to happen when Strahd dies. We don't even know if we can kill Strahd. And at this present point of time, we're down a member, we're down a pair of eyes and ears. And I feel that maybe an extra set of eyes and ears would help us.
So build a robot.
Just what eyes and ears. The problem is she kept running off.
Thank you, Scaphus.
Dadriel's wings are, I think,
She-
still open, so she will break a window and try to fly to the top of the tower to get a look-see and sit there and stand guard.
Easily enough done. I mean, not hard to break a window. Rather loud, but you are able to do so. Smash it with your hammer, and you dive out the window, use your wings, float to the top, and the sun is just started to rise. So you're thick in the sort of mist canopy, so it's very kind of misty, but you can see out around the mansion, and there's no sign of any of Strahd's creatures anywhere at this point. And you can see probably a good 250 feet in all direction.
They should probably still be able to hear me if I yell down.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Carry on.
Yeah, I mean, we can build a robot, but it's more about the fact of we don't exactly know what's going to happen if we just kill Strahd. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't even know if we can actually trap a soul in a crystal, but it's worth a shot.
Look, you do know about the Forge of Creation, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, very few.
Do you see a Forge of Creation anywhere nearby?
Yeah, but I'm not talking about making a warforged. I'm just, talking about...
fucking talking about making a Warforge.
Yeah, but, it's like using glue and duct tape to make something work instead of nail and hammer. Or, I don't know. I haven't slept. You get what I mean, though.
Look. All kidding aside, yes, we could trap her soul into a crystal, but it would be very unstable.
Yeah, it's fine. My cannon's unstable.
Granted, her soul would be there somewhat, but at the same time, it's not really in the realm that I play with.
Yeah, I don't really know how to do it either. But I mean, we've got a, Zadriel. She's got, maybe she has got some knowledge of these sort of things. I mean, she's from up there, ain't she?
Partly.
Well, she
Sorta.
looks like she's from down there at the moment.
No.
I don't mean my ass. I mean, the bad place.
No, she's not from the 9 hells. Or the 14 hells, whichever way you believe it. Just right. But, yeah. Look. We can try getting... Like, we found this crystal here, so there's a potential that we could find another one. Because we'd have to get a bigger one to trap a soul in anyway. That would be a container. But interface. I don't know. You need maybe. I don't know.
Maybe we could kill an animal and like sacrifice that soul and then put her soul into that one, like a give and take sort of situation.
Right, so stick her in a cow.
Yeah.
You're saying equivalent exchange. That's what you're saying.
Right. See, yeah. Kanos gets it.
There we go. So we got to find a rat, kill a rat at the same time, trapping her soul.
Yeah, right. Because her soul is the same as a rat's. Same weight.
I think it's equivalent.
Yeah, so do I. No, I agree.
She keeps on running off.
Fibble and Adult roll intelligence checks for me, please. To see if you guys actually have any understanding of what you're going on about at the moment.
I thought gingers didn't even have a
Remember,
soul,
you're
so
at
how are we
disadvantage.
trying?
You are exhausted. I think one level exhaustion. I think it's just saves. I think
It's
double
just
check.
checks.
Nah,
Just
ability
checks.
checks.
Okay, so ability checks with disadvantage.
So, intelligence would be an ability check, so
It is.
9.
9. Fiddlestib. Adok, yours is an 11.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've both obviously heard about how warforges are made. The construction side of it would come relatively easy to you both, I would imagine. The finer workings of it, however, it's pretty much exactly what you're going through. You're not entirely sure. I think both of you are just grasping at straws, sort of based on what you've read and been told. You've probably never seen it actually done, and you're tired. You can't focus, so you're not entirely sure the process would even work in this instance, and probably not here in Barovia, just per what you already know, specifically Fibblestib. With what you've gathered about Barovia itself, I'd say Fibble, even with that roll, you'd be pretty certain it wouldn't work here anyway, based on what's happening within Barovia itself.
So that settles it. We kill a rat. Yeah, everyone agrees. And we
Look,
do some sort of ritual circle.
I'm more of the agreement of we find a way to kill Strahd and we hope for the best. Because all that other stuff, the necromancy is not my thing, man.
Well, speculation.
Maybe there is a necromancer that we could find here that might know a way.
Also, Adok, we don't really all agree because Zadriel's up on the roof. I think she's a little upset. I don't agree, and Scape's very quiet about it.
I can still hear you.
I apologise if I upset you. Scapus, do you have an opinion?
None.
Alright, well, how about this? How about we just go about our days and if someone happens to find somebody who knows more about this sort of thing, then we just question them about it, then we can make a well-informed decision.
That sounds like a better plan.
It comes down to, yes, like Emilia was sometimes helpful, but we're going through a lot of effort and focusing our energy on the wrong thing. Like, why are we trying to save one person and not everyone?
Now you're talking like a hero, Mr. Stibb. That is my thought exactly.
And the only way I can see that we save everyone, especially us, because I think we're the only ones that are actually alive here.
The only ones trying to do anything about it, at least.
As I said, the only ones that are alive here is to kill Strahd. That's the only thing we can do.
So we need to get the things we need to kill Strahd. We don't want to go in half-assed.
I don't think we want to really use our asses in the first place, but that's completely up to you, I guess. I think Zadriel's motivated enough to kill Strahd.
Yeah, and I'm starting to see things the way of the DM. The DM has granted me with some abilities and things to aid us now, and we are getting.
Hey, does that mean that you could just say screw you DM and become like her and
I
go
don't think.
nuts?
I don't think she said screw you, DM. I think she said.
I
DM.
think I heard her say screw you DM. I'm gonna go after this cunt.
I think she said, "Hey, DM, I need to refocus what I think about my beliefs." I didn't say. I don't. Oh, listening to the tenants. I mean, I was kneeling there beside her. I don't think you quite got that, but I mean, we can ask her. Hey, Zadriel.
What?
What? Fibble still thinks that you told the DM to screw himself.
I'm going to jump down on the windowsill. I'm going to walk to stand over Fibble. I'm going to say, I asked the DM to help me. You, with your super smart hearing, should have known that I said help me or get out of my way. So if you also are not going to help and you're just going to crack jokes, Fibble, get the fuck out of my way. We have to stop fighting and get together, get some sleep, and go. Put your owl, shove it in your bag, and go to bed. And I go over and I sit down to try to sleep.
It's daytime, is it not?
It is indeed. You've had a
Can we
night.
move?
You've had a complete night of unrest, so it is feasible that you can sleep here if you wish. Completely up to you.
I don't.
Wait a minute.
know.
Do we want to sleep here during the day and then travel at night?
I think we'll get stuck here at night again if we do this. I think we need
Alright.
to travel in the day. That's just my opinion.
So
How
no
far
naps.
was the Abbey
We
away
go-
from?
What?
How far was the Abbey from here? Where that one-legged chick
Who
went?
has the map? Zadriel, I think I had the map. So I'm pretty sure Zadriel had the map. Either way, one of you pulls out the map that you had. And according to the map, it's further from Argynvost to Krezk than it is from Argynvost to Vallaki. You know from Argynvost to Vallaki is about a 6-hour journey, 6 to 8 hours on foot. Argynvost is going to take you better part of the day. You're looking at 10 to 12 hours on foot. If you were able to obviously procure horses or a horse and cart, you may be able to cut that time in half. But either way, you're still looking at a minimum of a 6-hour journey.
We had a basement in Vallaki where we were able to get a reasonable safe setup and sleep. Vallaki being closer, is that not? I know we'll be exhausted through the day, but
Another option is the Argynvost had a cart, and half of us could sleep and half of us could drive or something. Take turns.
that's also feasible. I like it. Anyone else?
What, aren't we at Argynvost?
Yes, you are. And the cart was still out the front.
Outside.
And you can summon a horse thing.
Mm-hmm.
Was there running gear for the cart?
It looked like there was. At the very least, all you really need is a rope.
Well, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do that.
I can volunteer to drive the horse. I feel like I have a bit more stamina for these sorts of things. You guys get to sleep, and hopefully with the magic abilities you have, you can aid me if I do feel a little down.
This isn't the first time I've pulled an all-nighter, boy.
I somehow believe that looking at you.
You guys would notice that in this day, Carlos has not taken any swigs from his drink at all, especially after Zadriel said what she said. He has not touched his booze, and he will limp out down to the cart and wait for Zadriel to cast a horse.
Point of reference. How the fuck are we getting down?
Adolf's gonna slowly get
Oh
up.
yeah.
And he's gonna walk to Scapus and go, Do you still want to do that bet? I reckon I can make it to the bottom if I jump off.
We need you.
Yeah, no. Like, yeah,
No.
trust me.
No.
No. $50.
No.
50 gold. Come on,
No.
man. Do it.
No.
All right, fine, whatever. Your loss. Could have got it.
And now it's gonna walk very slowly, and by the way, to the rail and then jump off.
Carlos would be stuck at the place where, because everyone caved those stairs in, right?
There's a 12-foot gap.
Yeah. Carlos will get there and be like, hearing the conversation, yell out, "I'll put that bet on."
as Adok starts falling down, he's like, "Deal!" as he's falling through.
Is he feather falling?
Yeah,
He has got it.
I knew
He has got it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's a 100-foot drop from the top of the tower. Is Featherfall a racial thing, or it's something he has to cast?
No, something I have to cast. Yeah.
What's the cast time on it?
1 reaction.
Quick.
So easily enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I should, because you got 2 levels of exhaustion. I could
could
make
go
you
for it, yeah,
roll. I could make
I'd
you
love
roll
to.
for it.
I would love to. Yeah.
Nah, that'd
love-
probably kill you.
I love the chick goes down south. That's
I was thinking a reaction could make you roll. Yeah, I don't know what would make you roll for it though. That's the thing. Because you're level 2 exhaustion, so your movement speed's halved,
yeah.
and you got disadvantage on ability checks. And what else? Is there anything else that comes with level 2? Or
Just ability
movement
checks and
speed?
speed at half. Yeah.
I'll let you get away with this one. I think if you're level 3, I would have made you roll 50-50 on a d6, I think.
Cool.
But yeah, you get. I think you'd probably Adok being Adok would probably wait to the last second, like the split second before he hits the ground, and then cast it.
Yeah.
And just
definitely, yeah.
floats like 2 feet and lands with a soft little thud on the ground below. As Karnos, you're probably looking down on him, waiting for him to hit the ground heavily, and he just sort of lands softly and looks up at you, grinning.
Oh God,
50 gold, mate.
I think you mistook how I made that bet. I said I'll take that bet. You said you bet you could land. I said I'll take it. I bet you could land too. You didn't listen. It's an old dad joke from way back, mate.
I
You owe me.
don't owe you anything. I haven't slept, all right, so bet's off.
I'll give you that. How are we going to get down? I can't get. I mean, I could jump across.
12 feet,
Do
you
you-
should be able to jump across. It'd be an athletics check though.
Could I hang down and then drop to the next step? Because it's curly stairs, right?
Curly
Don't
stairs,
go.
yep.
You'd be
So
able
to hang
Carlos
down and
across.
drop, you're looking at 20 feet to the next stair level down, because that's spiraling downwards, so it'd be about 20 feet gap. You could hang down and do it. You'd probably still take. You'd have to still have to make an athletics check, and you'd still take damage if you failed it. Wouldn't be
Probably
much though.
Safer to jump then.
Either way. I mean, if you jumped and failed it, you could probably miss or land awkwardly and take damage either way. If you were to hang and I would say you would know hanging and dropping and taking damage is going to be far less than trying to jump and miss and take, because you'd take the full 20 feet of damage if you jumped and
Yeah.
missed.
Okay, hang and drop it is. What's the check?
So it'd be
what- what-
athletics.
Yeah, never mind.
What's up, Scathus?
Zetriel could have helped you across.
How long does Zadriel's wings last?
Only
Natural
a
20.
minute.
So Zadriel could not help you across. Her wings
And a
would have
natural
by
20.
now have dissipated. Her eyes, however, still remain that amber, sort of orangey red, as with before they were a very radiant yellow. So a natural 20 on
For a total of 25.
total of 25. You are at 1 level of exhaustion, so that's an ability check. So you'd be
Oh, so it's a
disadvantage.
Disadvantage. So I'll do that again. Come on, double natural 20s.
Come on, natural 1. Oh, you're joking. What? Bullshit. Double natural 20s. Wow.
That doesn't happen very often.
That
though.
doesn't happen at all.
That's it for the rest of the game. I'm gonna
Yeah,
die
you're
this one.
screwed for the rest of it. So as
Wow.
Kaunos dangles down his armor and shield, everything's sort of there, and he sort of dangles, then just lets go, and perfect 3-point landing.
Alex gonna have a feather out instead of go and feather. Oh.
Who's next, and what are you going to attempt to do?
So there is Feeble and Skathos left, no?
There is.
Feeble, hop on my back.
I can do that.
And I will. Can I lift Skathos too?
It'll be a
I don't
strength.
know.
It'll be a
Just
strength
like-
check.
You don't need to.
You don't.
Okay.
I'm telling you, as a monk, you don't need. You don't need to.
Okay, I will Misty Step down to the bottom.
You would have to fall a certain amount. How much?
I will
60 feet from the
fall,
Misty Step?
and Misty Step
Or
is
was it 30 feet? 30. So you'd have to fall a little bit first before Misty Stepping
I
to
will
reach the
fall.
ground. And you'd know that. I mean, it's a 100-foot drop from the top. So you'd have to free fall for a moment. And then once you reach roughly
I'm
30
gonna
feet,
take Feeble, and I'm just gonna start walking, and I'm gonna walk off the side.
and you just go drop, and you start hurtling towards the ground. And I did say, in Zadriel's state of mind, she probably wait to the last moment, possible moment, as the ground is hurtling towards you both. Probably freaking Fibble out just a little bit, and then Misty stepping to the ground next to Adog. And as Karnos starts coming down the stairs, and it would take you a little bit of time to get down to the stairs to the bottom with them, but you'd probably see Karnos circling the stairs as he goes down. Skathos.
Okay. Just gonna do this for flavour because I have the unlimited movement which allows me to move on vertical surfaces.
You
which I'm
do.
going to run down the wall.
What is it? I've never actually used it myself. So what does it specifically say, please?
It says you can move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during the move, which is 50 foot of movement.
So you can move halfway down the tower without falling. So that's halfway. You got another 50 feet to go.
And I'll do the same thing.
I don't think you can do it twice in the same movement.
Yeah, but he could walk down the wall to a stairwell.
You could. Well, you
The
could
stairwell
just.
continued
Yeah.
after that anyway.
Could do, I guess. You could go down to that. That's still a drop. But either way, monks have featherfall naturally, if I recall.
Not exactly. Where did I see that? I saw it somewhere. Where did I see it? Nope,
It's not really featherfall. It's called something else. But there is an ability that allows you to negate damage that you take.
Slow fall.
Yes.
You can use your reaction when you fall to reduce the fall damage you take by 50. Slow fall is one reaction.
Yeah, so if you ran vertically down 50 feet and then dropped 50 feet, you're only going to take 5d6 damage anyway. So you reduce that by 50, so you're going to reduce the damage completely if you went that way. Because the maximum I can roll is 30.
Well, we only disabled part of the stairs, not all of the stairs.
Exactly, so you could probably just drop down the hole without taking any damage anyway because of slow fall. Because that's a native thing to monks. You're able to literally purposely fall, and you're only going to be falling 20 feet, so which is 46 falling damage. Although I like to double that damage, but either way, it's still going to negate it with slow fall. So either way, even for flavor, doing it that way, you're still not going to take any damage. So whichever way you wish to do it, whether you want to run down and then fall the final 50 feet.
I was just going to run past Carlos doing it.
Definitely, you could run past Karnos doing that, and then you get to the final 50 feet and just look up and wave to Karnos as you drop and land safely with slow fall without taking any damage whatsoever. I mean, you still land with a kind of a thud, almost Superman's 3-point landing kind of thing, but you take no damage.
Cool.
Carlos looks over the railing and he's like, yeah. And then he looks, is that the first time Zadriel was Misty stepped?
I think so. I'm not 100%.
In front of you?
Probably the first time she's done it in front of
In front
everyone,
of you.
yeah.
Yeah.
He would go, oh, maybe I got my magic power from the DM way back when. How come when you Misty Step, though, you don't You don't freeze up. I freeze up a little bit lately. It must be too much magic in my system.
Does Karnos try it again to be sure?
He has made a note that Misty Step seems to be bad the last 3 times he did it. So, so he is not trying it. He just carries on.
Hasn't had enough to drink to try it.
He's had nothing today.
Right, so you guys make your way. Once reaching the base of the tower, you make your way back out to the front of Argynvost. And in doing so, you see out the front, by the statue where you left it, the cart, the wagon that previously had a coffin resting in the back of it, which is no longer there. As you inspect the cart, you see that it does have some of the strapping and rigging, not all of it. You may need a length of rope to complete it, maybe to make up a set of reins in order to drive the horse once Adriel has summoned it. This will cut your travel time by half, from approximately 12 hours to around about 6 hours, which will get you to Krezk within a day, which means you'll get there before nightfall, which is your goal. Or to Vallaki, whichever way you wish to go first.
While they are discussing, Azadria will get her rope out and summon her steed and start doing that.
Adok is just gonna slowly walk up to the cart, climb inside, and pass out, or attempt to.
I'm gonna look at Karnos and go, so is the DM giving you that ability?
The ability to climb in the cart and pass out.
No. Make a steed out of nothing.
I'll try. Hang on. Oh, great DM. Hang on. Well, hang on. I don't know. Zadriel.
Yes.
Your cast. How you can magically bring forth a steed? Is that something from the DM that you do?
I think so.
So he's still with you then. He hasn't, for doing what you're doing now, he hasn't betrayed you for one. And for two, what is the magic words you use, or what do you think of when you do that?
I just summon a horse or an ass or something like that, and I pray.
All right, I'm going to try it.
And I hold forth the sun sword, because I've been holding the sun sword when I've done just about every paladin ability. And I go,
DM, let me bring forth a horse or an ass.
And for the first time ever, because I have not done it before, I swing the sword forward and trying to summon the abilities of the DM, I cast just at nothing, so I'm not actually hitting anything. I'm trying to cast a horse. Just trying to find it here because I saw it just before. Racial traits, class features, here it is. And I cast blah 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 blah, Divine Smite.
Oh God.
And I just smile. I'm using a spell slot for it. I smite the ground.
So as Karnos draws the sun sword and it ignites in its radiant brilliance, and he utters the words and strikes forward at a bare patch on the ground, the radiant energy expels, basically causing a minor little puff of explosion in the ground. Dirt and dust go flying everywhere as your divine smite is ignited into the dirt before you.
That didn't quite pan out how I planned, Mr. Stubb.
I wish I had a sound effect for that.
That was a smite, though. That's very nice. Very lovely.
Oh, I didn't know I could do that yet. I thought that...
Yeah. So maybe think of an ass or something when you want to smite, you know? It was very good.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, next time we're fighting the undead beings, I shall think of an ass and smite them. I was thinking of Mr. Stubb. Sorry, Mr. Stubb. I made a big mess in the ground here, but I didn't get a horse.
Yeah, not surprised.
Oh well. Next time, maybe.
So where is it we are going?
The Abbey?
Oh,
What?
the Abbey. What's the Abbey
I-
called again?
I have a map here, so maybe we'll follow this map to Krezk and see.
Yeah, where's Krezk? Oh, there.
DM, what do we say? It was halving the distance, so to
About
Krezk is
it's going to be about six to 8 hours ish to get
So
to
it'd be
Krezk
roughly a
from there.
day with
So
the
it's going to
cart.
take you. You'll get there if with the cart as long as you have no interruptions, no hold-ups. You should get there before dusk, based on the calculations of what we've seen. I just need to test something here. Hopefully,
Divine Smite.
kind of a divine smite smell. Maybe this one.
oh, that's better.
It's more. It's a flame. It's a flame trap, but that'll do.
So
Next
Zadriel,
time.
you're thinking Krezk?
Is that where Esmeralda went to? I think she said Krezk though, so
Yeah.
we could enlist her help.
That's indeed where Esmeralda said that she was headed, or she mysteriously vanished on you.
Adolf's asleep, but all those who vote for Krezk say aye. Aye.
Hey.
Who is sleeping and who is sitting with the driver?
I don't mind driving. I can volunteer for that. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, okay. You drive or you rest.
Yeah,
Sounds
I'll rest.
excellent.
So
Right.
with that, it is decided that Karnos is to drive the wagon for the first part of the journey at least, and while the rest of you try and get some sleep. So basically, up to you, Karnos, how long you wish to drive. If you want to drive for the entire journey, let them sleep. Let them all get 8 hours rest. It's up to
Yeah.
you.
That's my plan.
Otherwise, obviously, in case there is still opportunity you may get interrupted during this, which will interrupt their sleep anyway. But if that's your plan, that's cool.
Will driving the horses, even though I don't get a long rest, would it allow a short rest though?
I would say
sitting there doing
yes. I
nothing.
would say
Okay.
yes. Well, actually, we'll let an animal. We'll let
see how we go.
an animal handling determine that throughout the way. I think to see how Karnos copes with the animals. It's a magical steed, so it's going to be. We'll make it a straight roll, no disadvantage, because it is a magical steed. It is not a regular horse, and it generally obeys anyone that Zadriel informs it to. So we may even be able to negate that roll altogether. I think.
I rolled anyway, 18. I have
A bit
18?
of experience with
Yeah.
horses.
I think you'd be fine. So the rest of you sort of climb into the back. There's not huge amounts of room there. You'd have to sort of sit sort of opposite facing each other, sort of legs interlocking somewhat, maybe even sort of with your knees up, but resting against the side. You're exhausted. You're probably going to sleep. Maybe the rocking of the carriage on the road may help some of that. We'll soon see. But you sit out and you start moving along the road. The horse not moving at a huge pace. You don't want to obviously gallop or trot or anything like that, because that would be kind of bouncy and kind of probably disturb your friends. You want to keep it relatively even pace. It's still going to make it faster. You're still going to get there within plenty of time. The first half hour or so, 45 minutes pass, and Karnos, you look over your shoulder just to check on and make sure everyone's okay, and everyone seems to be somewhat resting, a little restless. Adok is probably the one that's snoring his head off. He was definitely very, very exhausted. He's been awake for 2 whole nights straight and has practically passed out in the back. Zadriel,
am I able to keep an eye on the forestry sides, each side of the road, just glancing over there now and then to check that
make a perception roll, which will be at disadvantage because of your exhaustion.
Yep, that's fair enough. Not too bad though. 11.
It's still pretty good. It's not bad.
It's
Just-
not wonderful.
I mean, you're focused on your friends, you're focused on the horse, you're sort of looking, trying to do your best in your current condition to keep an eye, make sure that you're not being followed or something might catch your eye as you travel. As you're sitting there, you can hear the heavy breathing of those that have dozed off. Seems like pretty much all of them have dozed off in the back. Again, you glance over just to check on them, and they all seem to be resting. And it's at that point, just out of the corner of your left eye, you're sitting on the right hand side of this wagon. Your reins are pulled, you're focusing on the road, and you're sort of glancing around a bit, and then out of just out of the corner of your left hand eye, you see a swish of movement. And as you turn, probably a little bit to your surprise, you look directly into the face of a young woman. A young woman you know extremely well. Young woman's face you didn't see straight away. Flowing red hair. She looks as real as you are, sitting next to you. Slight smile on her face. Just looking straight back at you.
I look to my right hand side, then I look to my left again, and is she still there?
She is still there, just smiling at you.
I look up to the sky. That's, dark and gloomy.
Yes.
I look at the horse's rear end, and then I look back. Is she still there?
She is still there.
Strahd, this is a horrible trick to play.
Gorgeous day for a drive, isn't it?
It's a horrible, gloomy day, but not to look on the bad side of things. I wish, Mr. Strahd, that you would leave my presence before I put my hand, one hand on the rein still, put my other hand on the sun sword, before I have to take matters into my hands.
I'm not Strahd. I'm your friend.
And my friend Emilia, unfortunately, is dead. So you're saying you are the ghost of Emilia that our friend at Alcasaur last night?
Yes, we had a nice chat.
Is this are you here to punish us?
No. I'm here to thank you.
That's good.
I'm very happy with the way this went. Despite what you may think, I'm glad you did what you did.
You mean despite what I think? What do you mean by that? Do you think I think that you think that I think something else?
I think you're sad that I'm gone, but I'm glad that you ended what was going to happen. And I'm glad that you took that away from Zadriel.
You're not wrong, Emilia. I did not want to do what I had to do, but I did not want Zadriel to have to do that either. That is why I cautiously stepped in front of her hammer and hoped she didn't swing through. I did not want to kill you, Emilia, but I did not want the evil to live on. I apologize. But don't get me wrong, I did not feel bad. I've lived as a hero. I realize I will probably die as a hero, but some things have to be done, and what I do apologize for is maybe not trying to help you sooner.
Well, I knew when I met you that there was not much future left for me. So I knew that you couldn't help me as much as you think you would have liked to have. I realized that I was not the best friend that I could have been.
No, to be honest, Emilia, we're all a little bit back and forth.
to a point, I've been tempting you guys to do it the whole time I've been with you.
Well, it worked.
It did indeed.
You remember, back in, well, not long after we first came here, remember how I got you to put your head over the stump and we were going to cut your head off?
Oh, is that what you were going to do?
No, not at all. Was it?
Picking up coins or something.
Yeah, it was a bit of a joke. It was one of those tests. Nonetheless, I'm glad we didn't do it then. Got to know you a little bit better. Mind you, it would have solved a lot of problems, but we all got to know you better.
Oh, trust me, things could have gone a hell of a lot worse if you had just then. But that doesn't matter. The point is that that's done. Anyway, I just want to tell you a bit of a story.
Oh, I like stories. Go ahead.
Before we all met, I was running away. Effectively, I was banished from the lands. I was running, I was hiding, I was wearing a mask so nobody knew who I was. And then I met a guy who I knew to be a hero that I will say that I was attracted to. And he said, come on an adventure with us. And I was like, well, I can't stay here. I might as well. I mean, I'm already dying, so I might as well. And so I went on this venture with this group of people. And this guy that invited me is not the gleaming hero that I had originally thought. To be frank, he was a bit of a windbag, and I thought for a while, wow, he must be a bard, he loves telling stories. And then I got to know the group, and it turned out that he was as strong as I thought he was before I knew him. And he was the hero that he claimed to be, and that all his stories were true. Well, as far as I know they're true. They definitely seem to be true. And this group was all strong, and they were strong when they were together. They did a bit of arguing, and that was mostly my fault, I would think. But together, they were strong. So the way it ended up is I believe that you guys have become stronger together. And without me, with or without me, you will find a way to do what needs to be done. And I have faith in this.
Oh, that story was about me and you.
It was, yes.
That's, I appreciate that. You know what? I'll have a little tail end of that story for you. You can tell your ghost friends. The hero in that story saw a red-headed girl at a bar on that very same day she saw him. And he said to himself, in his mind you, he said to himself, if I had a penis, that definitely would be the kind of girl I would like to marry. If I was the man to settle down, she's a good looker. But there's also another tale into that. Those stories I do tell, and probably will tell for a while to come. They are slightly exaggerated, I'll admit. And sometimes when I'm drinking, they're more than slightly exaggerated. I'm working on it. It's part of my tenets, all right? Nonetheless, you are correct, Emilia. They were all true. Every single one of them. To a point. Like I say, slightly exaggerated. I haven't had any booze today, by the way.
Yes, I see that.
I'm in a lot of pain.
I believe you're strong enough to see it through.
I'll give it a go. I'm not saying I'm giving up, though. That's only losers give up, right? I promise you one thing, Emilia. We're going to destroy Strahd if I have to die doing it.
I've watched you in the last couple of days, and you seem a lot more focused without me just wandering off. I believe that you guys can do it if you trust in one another.
I believe we can too, Emilia. I don't think we're more focused because you're gone. I think we're more focused because of how and why you were gone. So don't think about that as the focus is because you're gone. Think about it as we've come together because we're sick of losing people, and we kind of want to end Strahd so he doesn't do to anyone else what he's done to you. And as a ghost, have you seen Mirabelle?
No.
You haven't?
With any luck, she left these lands, but I don't believe that to be the case either.
I hope so, but yeah. I've got a question for you before I know these ghost times are short and sweet, but I don't know when you're going to appear and reappear, and I hope we'd have another chat someday, but can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Trying to settle something between the group. Would you want to be resurrected as something like reincarnated? If you were to come back, what would you want to be reincarnated as there? How's that?
I can't answer that. I mean, sure, it'd be great to continue to live, but in general, I'd be afraid that if you resurrected me, you'd resurrect me in the state that I was in prior to my demise.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how it works, and you could be right. There was talks about a teddy bear and an owl. What's your preference?
Well, I mean, a bird can fly, so everyone loves to fly. Well, everyone dreams of flying. Whereas a teddy bear can be hugged, and everyone loves to be hugged.
I understand, Emilia. It makes perfect sense. You want to put the teddy bear into the owl and make the owl teddy bear combo so you can be hugged and fly at the same time. You are a genius.
Well, I suppose I should probably go, but I just want you to know that thank you. I want you to know that I'm thanking you. If I had gone the other path and then attacked you guys or anything like that, then I would feel much worse for it. So at the end of the day, you saved yourself and you saved me, and I can't thank you more for it.
Oh, thank you, Emilia. And if you see Strahd, tell him we're coming.
Well, I'm hoping to not visit him, but if I do, I will.
And with those final words, and the shy smile that you once knew from your friend, she slowly fades and disappears almost into the mist as the breeze sort of carries the remnants of the premonition away with the wind. It's at this point, Karnos, that as that remnants of Emilia dissipates, you spy a cloaked figure, maybe 50 or 60 feet, dart back into the trees off the road, up on your left. And as you slowly get closer, you see another figure standing. You can see the top of a bow. Bowstring's relaxed, it's not drawn.
Which side of the road?
left-hand side.
Left-hand side.
So across the wagon from you. So they're about when you first noticed it was about 60 feet up. As you get close, you see another 2 or 3 figures. So there's several figures sort of standing just off the road in the shadows. From what you can tell from your position, they don't look like they're aggressive. They don't look like, you can see a couple of bows, but you can tell from your angle and your knowledge with weaponry, you can tell their bows are not up and drawn. They're down and relaxed. As you near closer, they're not trying to hide per se. You can now see that one as a bowman has got the bow knocked, but the bow is down in front of him, almost like ready just in case kind of thing.
So the cart's moving. Are they moving along with the cart? Like
you're drawing up to them slowly. You're at a walking pace, so you're drawing up to them.
They come out onto the road?
They were stepped out onto the road and then stepped back when they saw the cart, and they sort of stepped back into the trees a little bit.
For about how long would I be noticing them for?
Probably for 2 or 3 minutes before you leveled with them, easily enough.
Okay, good to know. As I'm going to watch them before we stop, and I'm going to spend a good minute observing them, 2 or 3 minutes to observe them out of combat, and I'm going to want to know a couple of things about them. Know my enemy.
I'll give you one of those because I think you can only focus on one person. Yeah.
One person.
Yeah. So I'll give you the lead person, the person you can see most clearly.
Yeah, the one I would assume to be the lead.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask alignment. No, I can't ask alignment.
I don't think you can ask alignment. It's physical traits, strength.
Okay, strength compared to my own. Yeah. So strength compared to my own?
It would be less.
Armor class compared to my own.
What's yours? 18?
18.
18, less.
Would I know, because it's asking for fighter class levels, I know it sounds meta-as, so would I know if they were fighter or more of a different class than me?
Definitely not the same class as you.
Okay. I'm happy with that. I will, as I get closer to them, I will rein the horses up and I'll just call to the team. Before I get to them, I'd say to the team, heads up, people, heads up. And I'd sort of knock on the side of the cart with my hand.
And as you rein the horses up, you knock on the cart. You would probably wake, I'd say all but Adok. Adok's probably pretty tired. So at this point, he probably wouldn't wake straight away, not initially. The rest of you'd sort of blink your eyes open, sort of, oh, we're stopping, what? Just a little groggy still. You've been resting for probably a couple of hours. You've got a short rest. You can mark off a short rest if you wish. You can use hit die if you need to. And as you pull the wagon up, Panos, you notice right away similar facial features to the dark elf that you saw in Argynvost when you first went there. 4 or 5 of them, in fact. And they don't seem to be moving forward. They're sort of hanging back in the shadows, trying to figure out whether you're even approachable with your friend or foe. They don't appear to be aggressive in any way, shape, or form. Okay. They're sort of hanging back at this point. They're not saying anything at you at this stage.
Why are we stopping?
Just some people on the road. Does one of you want to talk to them, or do you want me to do it?
Up to you, Ganos. You were driving.
I've been doing a lot of talking while I've been driving. I just thought I could give my voice a rest.
Talking to a horse?
I'll mention it later, but we need to make it
All right. Hello?
So do you make yourself known, Zedril? Do you sit out into the driver's seat next to Carlos?
I just raise a hand.
Hello?
Do I see the ears?
You'd see they're still hooded, but you can tell just from the facial features that they look very similar to the elf that you saw at Argynvost. And it's at that point when you say hello and the one that says hello, you see a familiar face to step out from behind one of the others. Oh, hello.
Oh,
familiar
hello.
face. It's all right. friends, I think. And you can see he's still very unsure. His initial meeting with you guys was not exactly the most friendly. Like, he was a little standoffish, obviously, with the way that your interaction was with him. So he still seems a little standoffish with you.
Did you find who you were looking for? We did not see anyone at the Argenvost, so
No, we are still searching for Levesh's daughter. She's still missing. As you see, I've now brought more. I mean, we're not to travel alone. It's very dangerous. Are you all right? Do you need assistance?
we are exhausted from our bad night.
Indeed, the nights can be bad in Barovia. If you happen to see a young girl, maybe 12 or 13, her name is Arabelle. She is leader of Vistani, his daughter. She has been missing for a couple of days. Several days now, in fact. But if you see her, bring her back to the Vistani camp south of where Valaki stands. I'm sure he will pay handsomely for her return. I mean,
Yeah.
I know how you feel about the Vistani, but I'm sure that, it's his daughter. And as we said, we are not all aligned with Strahd. So just be aware.
Larabelle. All right. That sounds familiar to someone I used to know.
Arabelle, with an R.
Arabelle.
A-R. Yes, Arabelle.
Hmm.
Can't really miss her.
Alright.
She's, say, 13. Shocking red hair. Much like her father.
We are on our way to Krezk, but if we see her, we will redirect her.
Take care in Krezk. The abbot is quite mad, but
Oh.
he may be able to offer some assistance, depending on why you're wishing to see him. But I would not expect much help from the villagers of Krezk. They're very guarded, and rightly so.
Do you think we can get a rest in Krezk, or should we find another place?
It's possible. I mean, I say I doubt the villagers will offer aid, but you may find rest at the temple, possibly.
I lean over to Carnos. I think, what do you think? Do you think we continue, or maybe they could keep us for a night or something?
Yeah, I think. If we could, they're saying Krezk is not very friendly. Well, who is around here? But if they've got somewhere we can safely stay.
It's not that they're not friendly. It's just they do not trust many people. They fear Strahd like most do here, and then do not offer help willingly. I mean, you may convince them possibly, but I really doubt that.
Well, if they have a safe place, Cedriel, I'm not against it. And I recognise the one we released from.
Yeah, he's the one speaking to you.
It was like apologies about earlier too. Things are weird here.
I understand. As I say, Strahd, his influences here are strong, and as I say, we may travel with the Vistani, but out of necessity, not out of loyalty.
Do you think we could stay the night with you for a night to rest, and we could tell you what's happened to us, and maybe you could talk to us more?
We may be able to house you in one of the outer houses away from the main Vistani camp. My uncle may want to speak with you.
Yes,
you would be quite safe, yes. I would guarantee your safety, in fact, on pain of death. And he stands up, tall and straight, and bows almost regimented.
Bow back a little in the cart, and I do think one of the winer. I think we were supposed to bring wine to you. I'm not sure, but I can't remember.
Vistani has not had wine for many months.
Well, maybe we can talk with you. What do you think, Anos?
Well,
Everyone?
maybe we should check with the others. And has Fibble and Skathis come out? Because I know Adolf's still asleep, but has Fibble and Skathis come out yet?
Pop your head up.
Yeah, I dare say would have popped their heads out and see what was going on.
No, I would have just been behind them listening to it all.
Same.
What do you think?
Now, as long as we keep an eye on them, I think it's probably a good idea.
Nice rest, all good.
And if they are truly against Strahd, yeah. Enemy of my enemy is my friend, as they say. Hey, Canos?
Never a truer word spoken, my friend. We are,
I
as I
agree.
say, we are allied to Vistani out of necessity and biding our time, as you probably well know, we will outlive most humans in this land.
All right, we will follow you then to someplace safe for the night if we can.
If we go to the camp to the south of Vallaki, if you stay away from the center of the camp, keep yourself relatively hidden from the main Vistani humans, of course. Stick to the outer rings. I shall introduce you to my uncle, and maybe he can offer some more insight and information that may aid you. At the very least, you'll have a safe and warm place to sleep and recover, as you say.
We can pay our way too. We don't have a lot, but we can give you some money, or we can some gold, or we can do some work.
It's fine. If you are able to destroy Strahd, that would be payment enough.
We have a little grey goblin that we could sell, yeah?
A bit of a smile comes across his face. We really have no need for great goblins. Thank you. So with that, they say, well, we are traveling on foot. We do not travel on horseback. But we are 3 or 4 hours away from the camp. If you were to follow the road, I mean, you know obviously where Vallaki is. There's a fork in the road just before you reach the village of Vallaki. If you travel down that, you'll eventually come across the camp. Veer to the right before you reach the main encampment, and follow around to the south, and you will find the outer ring. Can't really miss it. It's on a rather large hill. The main Vallaki camp is at the top of the hill. Dusk elves inhabit the lower rings. We will meet you there in a few hours, if you wish.
Thank you. Carlos is still driving, so I'll sit up front with him.
Ian, can you ping that on the map for us?
So, on the map, it would be roughly about there.
Oh, that way, okay.
Yeah, so the way you're travelling, I mean, by now you would have reached about this point on the road, almost getting up to the main road anyway. You know you've got to cross back over the bridge towards Vallaki, and then there's a turn off on the road, roughly about sort of there-ish on the map, which sends you back into the, back through the forest into a hilled area where the Vistani camp is located. The camp that you guys initially went to was further down, about here. When the small encampment that you were led to, where the wolves chased you, that was further south. This one's a larger camp. It's sort of between Bone Grinder and Vallaki. So, do you set off again?
Yeah. I hand the reins to Zedria and go, or the rope, you wanna take over for a bit?
All right. Go sleep.
If it's alright with you, I'll try and nod off here. It's a bit cozy in there, and I don't really swing that way.
Okay.
And as you set off again, this would be a good place for us to take a short break. So we'll take, guys, we're going to take 5 minutes while Karnos is nodding off and Zedriel is taking the reins, as you guys head back towards Vallaki and the Vistani camp. Bit of a turn, something I didn't expect, but I'm pretty sure I'm prepared for it. So But we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. Don't go anywhere.
It's okay, Cam. Here we
And
go.
we're back. What's up, chat? Nutty doesn't have any ears on, but hey, Nutty. Probably watching at work when she should be working. No, she's kidding. She's doing an extra shift, so she's been pretty good. Stayed at home to look after my weird ass the last couple of days. So, but yes, so we have seen our party travelling along the old dirt road up from Argynvost, heading back towards the crossroads. They've just run into a band of dusk elves on the road who've invited them to spend the night in safety with them at their camp, which is the main Vistani camp. They've assured them their safety, that the Vistani won't bother them. And they're also out looking for Luvash, leader of the Vistani, his daughter, who has gone missing. So, as you continue to travel, Zadriel's taken over leading of the horses, or the horse, and the rest of you have sort of gone back to dozing as much as you can in the back of the wagon. Karnos doing the same, trying to sleep up in the driver's seat next to Zadriel, sort of dozing off as much as you can. Again, not travelling too quickly, but quickly enough that it's definitely going to cut your journey down. You make it back onto a road you're more familiar with, the main road that you've travelled several times now in your time here in Barovia. You turn towards the east, heading back towards Vallaki proper, and heading towards the bridge, which you again know well. I think now is about the time we need to make one of them special rolls to see what is happening, if anything. So, as you are travelling, Zadriel, I need you to make a perception roll, and as you are still exhausted, it will be with disadvantage. 16, still pretty good. So, Zadriel's memory's pretty good. In your first weeks here in in Barovia, you stumbled across a weird-looking creature in the trees once upon a time that looked almost like a tree. And you spy something similar again off to the right in the woods. A humanoid figure, stands about 8 or 10 feet tall. Glowing eyes, just staring directly at you out of the trees, unmoving. And you can see it, like you're probably a good 50 feet away from it, but you can see it. It's just sitting inside the tree line. It looks like it's watching you.
With a fine steed, I can speak telepathically to my mount, so
Certainly
I will say, eyes out for that tree over there. Do not get restless. Keep focused.
As you do so, you get a little closer, and it's definitely watching you. You can see it. You know, anything you see eyes, you look at it, and it looks like it's following you. But this seems to intentionally turn its head to follow. It doesn't seem to move at this point, but still intentionally turns its head to watch you.
Once I get past, once I start to go past, I'm gonna go ha and go a little faster.
As you do so, you strike the ropes, causing Boss to whinny. This would wake Karnos. Would just sort of start you out of your rest. Probably not so much rest in the back, but the quickened pace probably jostles the back a little bit. Maybe would stir the rest of you. As your pace quickens just somewhat as you pass this creature. It seems as you watch it, Zadriel, as you pass, it seems to take half a step out of the forest and sort of in your general direction. But looking at it, you can tell it's not going to be fast enough to keep up. And it's sort of as you sort of watch, you turn over your shoulder and watch, it slinks back into the forest as you passed.
Oh, no, not again, Carlos. Not another trip. I've got to kill Strahd. What's going on?
Walking tree thing. It's fine. It's fine. It's just speeding past.
All right.
Like a giant root thing, like a Grootish thing.
No,
Root.
I can't. I've been disengaged, but good night.
No. Okay, night.
As you settle back into a base, confused all to hell at what Karnos has just said, you carry on your journey. Another hour or so passes, and you now see the crossroads, the road that led you towards the south, towards Berez, now visible ahead, and the bridge crossing over the Lunar River, also lurking in the mist ahead. You can, way off in the distance, see the outline of the remains of Vallaki. A few wisps of smoke still visible in the distance. Over the next hour or so, nothing much happens. But we still need to make another roll, because that's what good DMs do. As you draw towards the crossroads, however, your steed spooks and halts in its tracks as you hear some odd sounds coming from the trees on both sides. Enough to, probably not to wake Karnos, but the horse has stopped in its tracks and sort of spooked at the sound. The rustling of leaves, as you see it first, Sadriel. Obviously no one else is awake, you can't see it. You see the dim flash of something on either side of the road move quickly through the trees in an almost encircling motion.
I'm going to speak to the horse. Did you see anything in my mind to it really quick before I wake the others?
The horse itself, so the eyes darting backwards and forwards, and all you get back is just movement. Unsure of anything, but just movement.
Ganos, nudge him.
Oh, is it you, Gorion? No. Oh,
No, it's Adriel. You need to wake up. I think there's movement. The horse is spooked. Maybe get the others up.
okie dokie.
I'm gonna get off and try to lead the horse a little past the spooking.
I tap on the side of the cart and sort of poke my head in the back and go,
Right. Oh, something's going on, guys. What's about you?
So as you wake the others, Adok, you would be woken by this as well. Going to put you guys on the road here. We're going to change maps just a second. Zadriel and Karnos up front. Rest of you behind. Right. Oh, let me grab Bibble. Where are you? There you are.
Something's grabbing Fibble.
Yeah, it's going to grab Fibble by the buttocks.
Skatos, let him alone.
So, as
Well, I
you
didn't do
approach the
anything.
bridge, we're going to activate this scene here. So what you now see, Zadriel, as you wake the others, is you would see the first of these creatures stepping out onto the road. I just grab that, everybody.
I think my vision is not on.
Your vision not on? I will double check.
Same.
Why is it doing that? Why?
Well, I'm seeing half the map.
I'm seeing just like I would normally see because I have human eyes.
Don't know why it doesn't. Your vision's
But
working,
it's
Skathis.
daytime.
It is daytime. And
So
I will
it
change
should
that
be
in a
seen.
moment, so shut your hole.
I'm just saying.
better.
Never mind.
The last time you were on this map, it was nighttime. range. No. We would just go yoink.
Ah!
Oh, here we are.
Now you should be able to see.
Yay! What? No card?
No cart because I don't have a cart token. So suck it up. Suck it up, nerds.
What about? There's got to be a horse though.
Nope, no horse.
Oh wow!
Imagine it. This is D&D. Use your imagination.
But you've
So-
given it visual representations. I mean, come on.
Do you want a visual representation of a horse? I'll give you one.
Scathus, that's
Look
how you
in the
get dead.
mirror, Trashy, and you'll see. a
Scathus
horse's
is so dead
ass.
this round. I got a feeling in my bones that Scathus is going to die right here. I really do. So with that, as you pull up the horses, you wake your friends, and Zedra, you spy the first two moving through the trees, one here and one here. Then as the rest of you wake, you spy the second, the third, the fourth, and a few more of these creatures as they dart out from the trees onto the road. I will get everyone to roll initiative, please. And we'll turn on our battle music. I better roll for the creatures.
Is that a disadvantage?
It's an ability. It's not an ability check, so it'll be just a straight roll.
Oh.
Advantage, I don't think falls under ability checks, from memory.
Initiative? Yeah, it does because it's a dex check.
Was it? Well, then it would be a disadvantage. But we'll
Alright.
we're just going to take the first rolls. I'm not going to worry about it
Okay.
because the tracker takes the first roll. So, oh, would you like to override the current initiative? No, because it was the first one was lower. New one for 2, yes. So you can roll with a disadvantage because I can update the tracker. Look at that.
Right.
Sweet. So I just rolled again. Cool.
Yeah. It'll tell me which one's higher, which one's lower. So, would you
15
like
for-
to change the override the current 15 for the newer 17? No. Yes. Yes. Look, that worked beautifully. Well
I
done,
got this.
Foundry.
There you
Same
go.
roll.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's really interesting. That's handy to know. So, with initiative, the first in the initiative order is this guy. So he's gonna go boink and run out here and not do a whole lot from memory. Let's see what he can do. Nope, he cannot do a whole lot at all. So that's pretty much it. First up, Adok, you're up.
Great.
So you've woken up in the back of the wagon. So we'll just, for argument's sake, we'll say you've all jumped down from the wagon. We won't use enough of your movement to do so, and you've initiated. This combat's been initiated. So
Great.
you're out of the wagon.
Is half
And
asleep.
I
I'll
will-
look at that.
Unpause so you can do what you want to do.
And
Now you can move.
he's just gonna cast grease, like right here.
A grease. Okay, we're gonna grab a token here. What's the size of grease?
10-foot cube.
10-foot cube.
Square. 10-foot square.
Whoop, shit. Not exactly what it is, but that'll do. 9 foot by 9 foot. That'll do. So about there, you see?
Yeah.
About there. So we have a grease spot on the road.
And that's all he can do.
That's all you can
So-
do. So next up is this creature. Who's going to move into there. This one is going to move to there. Karnos, you're up. And Scathus, you're on board.
Right. Carlos is going to look about his team and say, "Righto, team. Oh, watch the grease." Can only just get there. Not stepping in the grease, I'm going to make an attack at this fellow with my sun sword.
Go for it.
Ah, never get sick of that. Right, first strike, and I'll swing for his head. 29 to hit.
29 hits. Holy crap.
I'm using shield, so it's single-handed, so it's only this damage. And that is 10 radiant plus another d8 of radiant. Wish this would add it to it, but it doesn't. 18 total radiant damage for the first strike.
18 total.
And I go low with a second strike with a 28 to hit.
It's
And another 16 total radiant damage on that zombie dude.
It's kind of hard to tell. It looks like a zombie, but he seems a little bit more hearty than the average zombie that you've seen before. A little bit different. These ones are carrying weapons also, so it's not your typical zombie.
So 18 radiant and 16 radiant.
So it takes a fair amount of damage. You can see that it's hurting. But it's still up there. It's still holding strong.
I call out, these guys are a little tougher than the last lot. Eyes about you, wits about you. And that's it for me, thanks.
No problem. Just got to double check some things here. Yep, cool. Awesome. So that is Skathis, your turn.
Unmute myself first.
That'll definitely help.
I want that. I'm going to move into one of those squares.
So you're going to move into Greece. You'll need to make a dexterity check.
No, I don't.
Dexterity save.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Where is it? Unarmored movement. So you can move along vertical surfaces and across liquids on your turn without falling during the move.
It's not really a liquid surface. It is a slippery surface. It's not like it's water or a puddle, deep puddle.
Fine. I will retract that movement then.
I would say that you would still slip and fall on that. Because is it a reaction or just something that's an ability for the monks?
It's just armored movement. It's an ability.
I'll allow it.
Oh. So I can go there?
You can go there.
Okay. And
So you don't have to make dex check, but just be aware if it gets set on fire, you still will take fire damage.
And targeting that one. Then I get it. And using where'd it go? Water whip.
I knew it was coming.
Come on, that predictable. Anyway.
Yes, you are that predictable. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What's the save on Water Whip?
Water whip is a Dex saving throw 13.
That would be a natural 20 for 22.
Well, that just sucks then. All right, fine. He gets damaged then.
I'll show the roll. I didn't turn my public rolls on. So there's the save there.
Wow. All right, he gets 19 bludgeoning damage and nothing else happens.
19 bludgeoning.
And I just make sure where I had it. Here we go.
Is that your turn?
Yep, that's it.
That's it for you. So next up is this dude. He moves to here. Then this guy moves into there.
It's also half damage, so half of 19.
Half 19? No worries, I'll mark that. And next up is this guy. Yep. So, Karnos. This dude here is going to attack you, sir. And he's going to attack you with a 16 to hit initially, which I believe misses.
I held my shield up. Ka-ching!
Second attack. 17. I believe that misses also.
Not enough. Ka-ching!
So they both miss.
That's pretty high up there, though.
It's, yeah, not bad. Bibble, your turn.
I would like to cast Flaming Sphere.
Flaming
Right
Sphere.
there.
Let's see if I've still got that here. Right there. Yoink, I do. And does he have to make a dex save on the cast? Or is it just on the next turn?
Sphere appears.
I think we've been ruling it.
Yeah, any creature that ends
Within-
its turn within 5 feet of the
Okay, so
sphere
it's at the
must-
end of each turn. Okay.
Yeah, must
Cool.
make a dex saving throw.
Awesome. So your flaming
Right.
sphere appears.
Would it cause damage when it appeared, though?
I would say it would. I mean, it's still within 5 feet. So
Alright.
we'll rule it from now on that when it's cast that we'll do the dex save when it's cast as well. So both those guys will have to cast make the save.
Yeah, 2 dex saves, 17.
Easy enough. Saving throw. First one fails an 11. Second fails with a 7. So what's the damage usually?
2d6, which I'll roll now.
2d6, no worries.
10
So
points
10
of
damage.
fire.
Fire damage. This dude is not looking healthy at all. This one here is taking damage for the first time.
Oh, that's better. Now I can actually see.
So this
the
one
map.
here is taken. He's looking pretty rough.
Alright. And that's it.
And that's it for you. Next up is this dude here, who's going to, when I can hit the right thing, going to go to there. Zedriel, it is now your turn.
Zadriel is going to move here.
Move here and slam away.
I'm going to point at it with my bonus section and say, you. And I'm going to cast, well, it's not cast, it's a bonus section, Vow of Enmity.
Wait, what does that do?
It
New
usually
abilities.
gives me advantage on hits against it, so I guess it would just give me regular roll, I guess.
Your hits
'cause
are-
I'm at disadvantage.
Your
right
hits
now?
are not at disadvantage, just your ability checks at first level of exhaustion.
Okay.
So you would have advantage on the attacks as per
Yeah.
normal. It's
Okay,
only your
cool.
ability checks that are at disadvantage with exhaustion.
All right, so I'm going to attack it with my hammer
With advantage.
with advantage. Oh, well, that was a 19 and a 26. So
26 hits, definitely.
Or 16.
16
And
points
then-
of bludgeoning damage
I will attack it again.
with advantage.
4 of that was radiant, I think, because of my birthday gift from the DM.
Yes,
I think.
it was.
22 for the second.
That hits.
For 20 damage, 4 of that was radiant.
So you smush the first of these creatures. Double slam with your hammer, striking down hard as you can with the second, then with a backhand strike, clipping it under the chin, sending its head flying and bouncing across the road, and its body just slumps into a pile before you.
And I'm just gonna grin at the next one over there and be like, and that's me.
No problem. It is now this one's turn, and it's going to strike out at you, Karnos, because you were right there. Because why not? Again, long sword with a 20 to hit.
Ooh, 20 hits.
So that'll be 6 slashing damage. You will also need to take 5 points of necrotic damage as well. And you need to make a con save, please.
Con save. Oh, the low 13.
That is a failure, my friend. So your hit point maximum is also reduced by 5. That is its first attack. Second attack. Misses with an 11. That is its turn. Adok, you're up. And that one will have to make a dex save because it's within 5
You're muted.
feet.
Alec, just grabs his little flute out, plays a note, glows red hot, and he casts Fireball at this one over here. Firebolt, sorry, not
Firebolt? No worries.
I don't have that spell. Okay, for a 21.
It hits.
For a total of
11.
11 plus a d8 because it's arcane firearm. 16 damage. Fire damage.
16 fire damage. And I forgot to do that. Can't forget that. And Karnos, just point of reference, as you took damage from that creature that hit you, you did notice that one of its wounds closed as you took damage.
Ah, okay, cool. After that creature's turn, did it take damage from that fireball thing behind it?
It's saved.
It's saved, okay.
Yeah, 18 on the save.
Sweet ass, just checking.
So is that your turn, Adok?
Yeah, then he would just move back towards Hibble. And that's
No
it.
problem. Next up is this guy's turn. He's going to run towards the Paladin. Not a good idea, but he doesn't know any different. And he's actually going to dash past you, Zadriel. Running there. Karnos, you're up.
Alright, the one in front of Karnos that looked to be slightly healing. He's like, what's going on here?
And he is going to make another series of 2 attacks at him.
Attack away, sir.
First one aiming for the rib section. Oh, that was nearly a natural 20. 15 to hit on the first strike.
That will hit.
And yeah. Plus a d8. And I'm going to use a superiority die to try and disarm him. So he will need to make...
no, he will not. He will die on the spot.
He will die on the spot. Okay, I won't use it.
Don't waste your superiority die. As you lunge forward with the strike, you manage to catch him in an upward motion through the ribs and shatter a couple of ribs enough to drop him to his death. Yeah, so don't waste that superiority.
And I'm still within range of the other one next to me.
You're within 5 feet, yes.
I will... Oh, should I say that? How many have we got around us? 1, 2, 3, 4. I will action surge. And I will attack the other one with 2 attacks the same way. And the other one being this one here.
Yep.
So, go back to my attacks page. I will strike with the Sun Sword at him again, or this for the first time. 14 to hit.
That hits.
And I'm going to make both strikes at him, and I'm going to do the damage afterwards.
Yep.
And 12 to hit.
That'll miss. That was a natural
Okay.
1.
So with the one that hit, I'm going to expend a superiority die and try and make him lose his weapon. So I'll roll the lead damage first. 8 plus radiant of... There's a lot of dice rolling with a Sun Sword. So that's 10 radiant damage.
10 damage.
Plus...
What's the save?
Let me just have a check here. It should be 15, I believe. Got to swap between pages to find it. Disarming attack. Yes, strength 17.
Strength save of 20.
Ooh, he saves.
Manages to hang on to his weapon as he parries your second blow.
Hangs onto his weapon but takes the damage.
Takes 10 total damage with it?
Was the damage
Yeah,
that is
10
dealt. Plus I've got to roll the d8 for the superiority die. There you go, another 8 on top of that.
Nice. Takes the damage but manages to hold on to his weapon. He's not looking too good, that one.
And that is it for Karnos.
As if for Karnos. Skatus, you're up.
You're muted, Trash.
Skatus.
Okay, I'm moving there. I'm not affected by that, am I?
Yes, you would be. If you stop there, you will be.
That sucks.
That's fire damage right there.
Yeah.
In fact, I might have to roll to see where it ignites the grease next turn.
All right.
Probably should have done that already, to be fair.
If you want to, go for it.
Right,
Do it
I will
now.
actually. D6. Odds and evens. Odds it does, evens it doesn't. Did that roll publicly? Oh, yep, what D6? So 6, it doesn't. You're lucky. It hasn't ignited the grease as yet.
All right, then. Change back to that, and we'll move to there. I want that. That. Target that. Water whip on that one to bring it back.
Which one? That one?
That one.
Cool.
So, DC 13.
Dexterity?
Yeah.
That failed with a 5. So how far is it brought back?
Right back to me. 25 feet.
And what damage does it take?
16 bludgeoning.
16 bludgeoning. As the water whip is released from Skath's hand, whips out around the creature, dragging it backwards. Cracking sound. Is that your turn, Skathis?
That it is.
Next up is this creature's turn. Moves to there. This one. Oopsie. Moves to there. This one steps out of the bushes behind you, Zadriel, moving into you. And it makes its attack on you, Zadriel. 16, which I believe misses you.
It's a miss.
Second attack with a 21.
That it.
So it'll be 9 points of slashing damage. 5 points of necrotic damage. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please. Do you still have your +5 aura under your new tenants?
Yeah. Yes, I do believe so.
So, because that I think automatically adds it, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's
25.
25.
That's a pass. I think you're good. You feel odd for just a split second, and then it seems to vanish. Not sure what has caused it, but you took the slashing damage and 5 necrotic damage. Philsip, you're up.
Dex saves for those two that are close to the fire.
It is 2. At the end of their turns, so I didn't do one for him.
Yeah. Apparently, if they pass, it's half damage.
So 17, so half damage for him.
Yep.
And natural 20, so half damage for him.
So we'll roll that. So they take 3 points of fire damage. That saves
So that'll
time.
be half of that will be not much.
No, it's 3. 3 is the half damage.
Right.
Because it's 2d6.
Ah, you only rolled 1d6. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I see what you did there, sir.
Yes.
Well done.
Automatically halved it for you. How's that?
Confused me, but thanks.
That's alright. And then I'm going to cast Firebolt at that one next to
Roger Dodger.
Carnios.
Roll to hit, sir.
Once I get to the bloody page again and pick the right spell. 28 to hit.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that hits. And that wasn't even a natural 20.
Ooh, that's a 19. 1 away. And 18 points of fire.
Fire
Well,
damage
actually,
as you
plus
engulf
5.
this. Don't even bother. Engulf the creature in flames and it crumples to the ground, smouldering.
Excellent. And that's it.
That's it for you. Next up is this one here. It is going to move. Attack of opportunity, Mr. Karnos, as this creature charges by you.
Ooh, attack of opportunity. I like those odds. Which way is it going to him? Sorry, can you just...
It just moves straight past you.
Okay.
From here to here. So it's a straight line.
Yep, I'm going to swipe away. I was considering not, but I will. Ooh, he's too quick. 15?
That will hit. You will manage to reach out and just hit him as he scoots past you.
That is 16 total radiant damage.
16 damage. Doesn't seem overly phased by it. It scoots past.
Are they, just out of curiosity, when we hit them with radiant, are they affected like every other undead creature?
Doesn't appear to be.
Doesn't appear to be.
They don't appear to be taking any more damage than usual.
It's handling the radiant pretty well then, okay.
It's taking damage, but not huge amounts.
Yep, sweet.
So, where'd we get up to in the initiative order?
So that was my reaction. That creature moved.
Yep, that was your reaction.
Yep.
Zadriel, you're on board. Your turn.
I am going to go target Bane on 3 creatures. So this one, and this one.
Okie dokie.
It is a I think it's. Let me check real quick. It is a saving throw. Charisma saving throw.
Charisma saving throw. This one failed.
Okay.
So this one as well?
All 3.
All 3?
So the 3 in the closest to all of us.
Okay.
So yeah.
That one is a fail.
And then the one next to me as well. So that one is also a fail because it's 17. So
3 failed on Bane.
For the next minute on their attack rolls, or
They have disadvantage, I believe.
they subtract a d4.
Okay, cool. No problem. Done
And then
deal.
I'll use my second, because it's 2 actions per attack, so a spell counts as an action, yeah? So I can use my second action to hit something? Or no?
Your spell's your whole action. You can't.
Okay.
Yeah, that
So
takes
then
up the whole
I will just stay still.
thing. No worries. I'll see if I can find Bane on my list of conditions here. Could be there. Targeted, Bane distressed. Doesn't look like it. That's weird. Yeah, mate, we know they're baned. It's all good. So, that is your turn. Back to the top. Adok, it is your turn.
Adok, seeing this thing rushing at him, is going to be pooping a little bit. So he's going to reach into his component pouch, and probably Fibbles is going to see Adok pull out some weird looking goop that smells. And then he's going to cast Grease right here.
Does that get rid of the first grease?
No, it does not.
How long does grease remain?
1 minute.
So that 1 minute? Okay, cool.
It's not a 10-foot square.
Boom. Done. That's roughly where you wanted it? You know?
Yeah. That's all G. I believe it does need to make a dex saving throw.
It will do.
This is 16.
Fails with a 9.
Fantastic. Pulls pro. Woo!
No,
Well
it does
done.
not.
It doesn't?
Nope.
Oh, fuck.
Sorry.
Okay. Seeing that, he's probably just going to look at Fibbles and be terrified. And then try and move over here. Yeah. And that's his turn.
It's a turn? No worries. Next up is this one's turn. Two attacks of opportunity, please. Skathis and Zadriel.
Dirty 20.
That'll hit. Let's roll your damage.
18.
That'll hit as well, so roll damage on that. So 17 from Zadriel.
Yep. And on opportunity attacks, I can move half my movement, but I'm not gonna
Okay.
Never mind. I just saw the other guy next to me.
6 damage.
6 damage from you, no problem. It takes the damage. That it's its turn. Next up, Karnos. It is your turn.
I'm gonna look around and be like, grease to the left of me, grease to the right. I'm gonna have to go through the middle. That's as far as Karnos can get.
No worries. Is that
And
your
then-
turn?
He's gonna remember, oh yeah, the DM gave me some abilities, so I can't fight this turn. I'm going to, may the DM smite thee,
And I'm going to Word of Radiance that one there.
Okay, so what does Word of Radiance do for the
It
viewers?
needs to make a Constitution save.
Constipation save.
15 it has to make.
It fails with a 9.
Then it takes 6 radiant damage as radiant light blasts down from the sky and hits him.
And it does so, striking it, causing some smouldering radiant flame to appear on its body. Does not seem to bother it so much, though. Is that your
And-
turn?
Just with the free action, Karnos would say, please don't grease my path to that one I just hit.
And that's it.
And that is it. Next up, Skatus.
Okay. Moving to there. And unarmed striking it.
Punch away, sir.
With a nat 1.
That'll miss.
And for the second attack. Yeah, that's going to miss too. 12!
That'll also miss. Manages to parry your attacks. That's
That's
your
it.
turn, Skatus. Next up is this guy. Rolls into Fibblestib. He will make his 2 attacks at you, Mr. Fibble. With an 18 to hit.
Yeah, that hits.
It's 4 points of slashing damage. And you'll also take 5 points of necrotic damage, and you'll need to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
I actually need to make 2, so I'm just going to do it at advantage and take the second one as the concentration for the fireball.
Okay.
Thingy.
For the flaming sphere, right, of course.
Yeah.
I've almost forgot about that.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, that's a fail. That's definitely a fail.
Yeah.
So
Spell
flaming.
stays, though.
It's not a spell, just so you know.
Huh?
This-
Oh, no,
what-
the ball stays.
Oh, the ball stays? Okay.
Yeah, I passed the concentration, but I didn't pass the
Okay.
other one.
What was your concentration save?
Damn it. It's gone away. No.
That's right. I believe
was-
you. I'll let you off.
It was
Just
9 plus 2, so
11. Yeah, if you had to
11.
beat a DC of 10, that's fine.
Yeah.
Cool. But you fail that save, so your hit point maximum is also reduced by 5. And that attack. Second attack. Misses with a 7. Next up is this dude. And he's going to run into there and go yoink. And he's going to make his attacks at you, Zadriel. 16 to hit, which I believe misses. That misses also. Strikes nothing but armor and shield as he strikes out. Next up is you, Fibblestib.
Alright, so I'm going to call this little
Right
prick
before you
back
do,
here.
I need to make a roll for that. And it still doesn't ignite that grease on fire, but I'll make another one as you're passing through the new grease. And it does. So this grease here is a light. Just for everyone's reference.
And those 2 guys need to make dex saves.
Do, 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 do. First one fails with a 4. Second one probably fails with a 13.
Yep. So now roll damage for them shuckers.
36 fire damage.
I'll find the damage. 12
Well,
points of damage.
This one is ignited and falls dead. This one still remains.
Alright. And then I shall drink one of my potions, which is in purple color, which just upped my armor class by 1
No problem.
for
How long-
1 hour.
1 hour? No worries. That is your turn.
And that is my turn. Oh, and it also upped my temporary hit points too.
No
Nice.
problem. So this creature moves into you, Karnos. Makes his attacks on you. First one, which is a fail with a 9. Strikes nothing but armor. 23 does hit though. With 7 points of slashing damage, 5 points of necrotic, and a con save, sir, please. Which you will get a +5 because of your proximity to Zadriel.
Ah, nice. Natural 20 plus 5 is 25 plus 7
That's a lot.
is a lot.
I'm pretty sure you're okay. Doesn't seem to affect you this time. Same sort of damage.
Oh, I was
But,
feeling ill anyway.
You're not too bad. Not faring too well. Zadriel, your turn.
Alright, Zadriel will attack at the one south of her with hopefully a divine smite
Roger
at
dodger.
to it.
And fire away.
17?
That hits.
Oh, good. Okay. Roll 16. Are they undead?
They
So-
are indeed.
2, 3.
What level divine smite are we dropping on
just
this dude?
First level.
First level?
So 10,
26
added to that.
total.
and I will make another attack.
Hear the crushing of bones as the radiant energy sort of ripples through this creature's body.
I'm gonna do a divine smite again, hopefully. 17
That
again.
hits, definitely.
Aye. Whew. So that is 18 plus.
Oh yeah. Hit exploding time coming in.
18 plus 10, so 28.
28
more.
total as another creature is smushed beyond recognition. This time a downward blow, crushing the creature's skull. Very much looks like this now, with the top of his head poking out of his neck. And drops to the ground.
And then I just point at the one in front of me and grin. That is me.
Adok, you're up. You have a creature breathing down your neck. No, you don't. You moved away. That's Fibble. My bad. You ran away like a little bitch.
Or tactician. Take your pick. He's gonna move a little bit up here, so he's got a better line sight. It's relatively stupid.
Remember your grease is now a light in front of you there.
Literally gonna stop there, and then he's gonna take a firebolt shot at that one there.
Fire away, good sir.
Thank you very much, Lee.
So, marked which one you're going to shoot at, sorry?
Oh, great. Nat 1.
That'll miss, so it doesn't really
One
matter.
next to Fibble. Yeah.
Doesn't really matter. Good, you missed with a nat 1.
Fantastic.
In fact, roll a d6 for me.
Oh, shit. I'm so sorry.
Odds it hits Fibble.
Roll a 6.
Oh, you were lucky. It shoots just past Fibble's right ear. A firebolt just whizzes past your head, Fibblestead. Hits the road beside you. Is that your turn, Adok?
Alex gonna look at Fibbles and go, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm freaking out, man. I don't know what it is.
Is that your turn?
Yeah.
Garnos, you're up. Skatus, you're on board.
Karnos is going to strike the one in front of him that he has marked.
Go for it. Remember, Alt click to target your creatures, guys.
And it's a 17 to hit.
17 to hit, that hits.
With a 14 plus 1. So 15 radiant damage.
15 radiant damage.
And then,
Opens up a large wound across its chest.
as my bonus action, I'm going to shield quick toss the one in front of Mr. Stib.
What was the range on your shield? We put 30 feet, was it?
I think it was 20. I actually should measure that.
I'd say you're
yeah,
going to be just out of
makes it.
range. Just going to make it. Awesome.
20 according to the ruler.
Cool. We're going to say it'd be the disadvantage. You get a flaming pile of oil
that's
right
good.
in front of you, so your vision will be mildly obscured by this creature.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah, so you
Looking
either make
back, I
the
wouldn't see
attack
through
at
it then.
disadvantage or not. Your choice.
No, I agree with you. It was, I think if I look back and saw the fire, I would refrain from doing that. I would just make my second attack on the dude. Sorry, people.
No worries. All good.
24 to hit the
That
one in front of me
definitely
again.
hits. It definitely hits.
That is 7 plus 7 is 14 plus 5. 19 radiant
19
damage.
radiant
on in front of me.
damage. Nice. Not enough to bring it down, but it is. It looks like it's hurt. Is that your
So
turn,
close.
Skaters? Karnos. Jesus.
Carlos. Yes, it is. Yep.
Skaters, you're up.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I'm moving there
No problem.
and using Fist of Unbroken Air.
Is that ranged or not? Just double check.
It is a 30-foot range.
So it would be disadvantage if you're going to do it in melee range. If it's a ranged attack.
Using it to push, so
Yeah, it's still Fist of Unbroken Ear is a ranged attack normally, up to 30 feet. So if you're in melee contact, I believe it is classed as a ranged attack, so it has to be done at disadvantage.
okay.
You're like firing a bow at point blank range.
I'm not saying anything about ranged attack.
What does it specifically say?
Fist of Unbroken Air. As an action, you can spend 2 key points and choose a creature within 30 feet to make a strength saving throw of 13. On a failure, takes 3d10 bludgeoning damage.
There's no roll to hit.
No roll to hit.
Okay, then there is no disadvantage.
Okay, so
Strength save, you say.
yeah, 13.
That'll be an 18.
All right.
So it does not get pushed back.
And 4 points of bludgeoning.
No problem. Yeah, I thought it had a ranged attack to it, so
No. So Water Whip and Fist of Unbroken Air, no range attack.
no drama. Hopefully I'll remember that for next time. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it for you. Next up is this guy's turn. So he's going to return the favor and strike at you, Skatus. First attack, 12, I believe, misses.
Yep.
Second attack, God, that misses too. Jesus Christ. You guys are terrible.
You chose them.
It'll need to make a dex save at the end of its turn, which she gets a natural 20 on. I mean, come on. It takes half the damage from the flaming sphere.
Just a question. Fire resistance means half damage.
Half damage, yes, if you're fire resistant.
Cool.
So, Fibble, if you would, half the damage on your flaming sphere, please. 5. It's not looking healthy at all. Next up is this one, striking at you, Zadriel, with a 20 to hit.
That it?
So it's 4 points of slashing damage and 5 necrotic. Need you to make a con save, please.
Uh, 21.
That is a save. You're good. Second attack. Misses with a 12. Ching off the shield. And that is Fibble, your turn.
Okay. This dude over here that I just marked is going to get a firebolt.
Firebolt, no problem.
23 to hit.
That hits.
12 points plus, so
12 fire.
12 fire. I can't remember if it adds to damage or if it's just to hit. And I use the focus.
I think it's just a hit, isn't it? +5 to hit. Memory.
Right tool for the job. Yeah, just a hit. On the spell, yeah. Oh no, it must result in damage or healing. Okay, so that, and then I'm gonna run the fireball thingy
Flaming
up
sphere.
this other guy's butt. So he needs to make a dex save.
The dude that's in front of you.
Yep.
You're gonna move it onto him, or just leave it where it is?
Push it into him.
Okay, we'll push it on top of him just because.
Yep.
But look, for good measure, we'll just stick it on top of him. And a dexterity saving throw of 7, so that's a failure. Don't even roll for damage. He's got fuck all health left. And he is engulfed in the flaming sphere, and you just watch him sizzle and burn and bubble as he is destroyed.
And that's when I say, damn, I wish I had some marshmallows right now.
Next up is this guy's turn, attacking you, Karnos. Misses with a 10. The damage, hits with a natural 20, so that'll be 12 points of slashing damage.
12 points of slashing
and
damage.
10 points of necrotic damage. You'll also need to make a con save, but you are at a +5 because of your proximity to your paladin.
Excellent. Con save we said.
Con save, yep.
Natural 1 +5.
That is a
19,
failure.
13.
So your maximum hit points are reduced by 10 this time.
By 10. Okay. And because he missed with his first hit, I'm going to repost, which will give me an attack.
And
with
you
a
also
superiority.
see his some of his wounds start to close once again.
Okay. So I'm making a single attack as a reaction as a repost. Come on, Sunsword, do me proud. 22 to hit.
That hits.
And that plus a D8 Radiant plus a D8
Superiority.
78 on 25 total radiant damage.
That is enough to decapitate this creature in an arc of radiant energy as you fire back with your reaction after taking that damage,
And I clean them
destroying that
waste.
creature.
Yes, take that, scumbag. Now I'm gonna take 10 bloody off my maximum hit points.
Zadriel, it is now your turn.
Hammer.
The final creature on the battlefield.
20.
That hits. Looks like he's taken no damage at this point.
Oh, all right.
Well, he has
well,
now.
That's a 20.
Holy
Should
shit.
have divine smited that. I'm gonna
You
divine
see-
smite the next
Yeah,
one.
you see that he's taken serious damage with that though. He's bloodied with that single blow.
18 on the next hit. Does
That
hit?
hits. That definitely hits.
And I'm gonna divine smite this one for, well, we've got 13
Plus he's undead as well, so you get the 2d8 I believe.
plus 17.
Oh yeah, that's enough. As the
Squish him.
final, describe the demise of the final creature as you
I go.
dish out the final blow of the combat.
I'm thinking of all the people that have died with us, and I bring down my hammer on his head to pop it, hopefully.
And you certainly do. As the combat comes to a close, Zadriel pops another zombie head by the looks of it. These zombies are definitely a lot tougher than what you have been used to, however. They carried weapons. They didn't seem to have too much armor on, but they were definitely a lot tougher in general. A little bit harder to kill than the average zombie. But as the bodies lay strewn across the road, you can see that their armor is nothing special. The weapons are all rusted and worn. Again, nothing of any kind of note or value in this pile of old rusted weaponry. But nonetheless, some of you have taken some nasty damage. Karnos, you definitely have felt the brunt of that. You're not entirely sure what it's done to you, but you're already exhausted. But whatever that was has made you feel ill, sick to your stomach almost. You
Weak and
definitely don't
even.
feel well.
Yeah, I'd like to think I'm a bit grey under the gills.
A little bit. You're definitely looking a little worse for you. Zadro, you'd probably notice it as well. You're standing right next to him. You can see that the wounds that he sustained are greying and almost desecrated around the edges. Not natural at all.
I'm going to check his wounds and look him over, and
Roll a medicine check.
I'm going
This
to.
will be at
okay.
disadvantage because of your
well.
exhaustion.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be a. Oh no, there's a nat 1 there. That'll work. And I'm gonna lay on hands using 5 to cure disease or poison, and give him 20 points of healing.
So he gets 20 points of healing, but it doesn't seem to cure whatever is affecting him. He still looks lethargic, and his eyes have sunken in almost like he's had years taken off his life.
Thank you, Zadriel. The sooner we get on the cart into the Vistani village, the better, I think.
Okay. Yeah, you don't look so good.
Oh no, I feel fine.
You don't look so good though.
Yeah, you would see the owl land on his shoulder. At the same time, I'm casting Lesser Restoration on him and myself from the damage.
Strangely enough, it also does nothing.
Yeah, but
yeah, you get the cast across. So the cast works. Everything works fine. It just doesn't seem to solve whatever issue has arisen.
Thanks, Mr. Stubb. That feels 100% better.
It did nothing.
It felt nice and warm and tingly.
It did nothing.
I think it pooped on you. I'm gonna take my
It doesn't have a
canteen
butthole.
of wine. I'm gonna take my canteen of wine and hand it to him, thinking maybe he needs a drink, and then make sure everyone gets on the cart.
No wine, thanks. I'm just feeling a bit tired.
Okay. Well, everyone get in. I'll keep driving the rest of the way.
So you
Get some
return back to the just my benefits. Okay. So you return to the carriage or the wagon. You know you've got to keep going. You've got to get back to the Vistani camp before it gets dark. This has held you up for a little while, not too long, but long enough that it could be a concern if you don't get moving. And you hit the bridge, you cross the bridge, and you make it to the crossroads, or the road where you believe the Vistani camp should be. And you turn south, heading towards it. And as you travel down this road, you off in the distance see, as the trees break, a large hill. And on top of this hill, you can see a series of tents. It's all ringed like almost wagons, like wagon-like tents. Large tents seem to be in the center, and then a ring of wagons around the top. Horses tied up in different points around the top of it. And then you see a lower ring. And then a lower ring, you see some houses around the base as well. And you remember that the Dusk Elf had told you that to turn more southward and headed down and around the back of this mound, around this hill, and head towards the back of the hill and pull into the houses at the lower end of this hill, as the Dusk Elves seem to inhabit the outer rings of this sort of settlement. And as you draw closer, you do see a couple of figures standing at a sort of intervals around near some of these huts or homes. And none of them are hooded. You see the hoods are down. You can see that they're Dusk Elves.
Gonna do just as he had told us to do, and I'm thinking, being Dusk Elves, they're going to notice the cart, and those that know it's familiar will see us coming in. So I'm going to park and kind of just wait for to be approached. Wake up the others.
As you sort of pull in, and you can see you maybe got a couple of hours of daylight left. You know, you can tell from your shield. You don't even need to look at the sky anymore. You know it's dingy and dark as always. You use your shield as your guide for your day and night cycle, and you know it's maybe got a couple of hours. As you reach your stopping point, you wake the others, or rouse the others to sort of be prepared, and the same elf joins you and says, "Welcome, come, rest. I'll take you to one of the other huts. My uncle is resting for now, but he'll speak to you in the morning. Come get rest. You'll be safe here for the night. Don't wander too far from the lower ring if you do not wish to have unkind encounters with the rest of the Vistani. Keep to yourself. You'll be safe. Food and water will be waiting for you." And he leads you to a small hut, probably no bigger than maybe sort of 8-man tent type thing. It's not huge. It's a single room, small fireplace. It has a fire going in it. It's got a small table with a candle lit on it, and there's food, there's drink, and there's several bedrolls, like straw bedrolls, laid out. Nothing flash, but it'll be comfortable and warm for the evening as the wind starts to sort of set in for the temperature does drop somewhat. And that's where we'll end our tonight's session, guys. As you have reached the Vistani camp, you've survived the battle. You will gain the benefits of a long rest, so you can do that now if you wish. For those that did lose maximum hit points, you'll regain those after your long rest. So that was the only way you're going to recover those. Unfortunately, no magical means were able to do so, just needed rest. So long rest, take it, do it now, whatever you need to do. And that is the end of tonight's session, ladies and gentlemen. GG's, players. Thank you very much once again for joining us. Mr. Drax, still around. We'll get you to come and join us for the usual ending bit if you're still here. Chat, thank you very much once again as well for hanging out with us. We're going to go back over our start page here. So, usual, we're going to shoot around our team here and get some moments from tonight's session. Chat, if you've got some moments as well, please put them in the chat. We'll read them out. So, we're going to start with Karnos tonight. We're going to go around that way.
You. Couple of things. Teddy Bear and Ash soul business. That is a quite amusing conversation between everyone there about what to do with the ash, using it as a soul. I thought it was quite a good little conversation actually. And Fibble, probably for me, standout moment was where he said, I think we were discussing with the Dusk Elves about something, and he said, "Oh, we've got a little grey goblin we can sell you."
Yes, indeed.
That's it for me.
That's
tonight.
it for you, Skaters.
I'd have to say the transformation of Zadriel. I enjoyed that. And the interaction between Zadriel and Karnos on the car when he's just being woken up and he's mumbling nonsense.
Yes, I think everyone was confused by that, including the DM.
Oh, I thought it made perfect sense.
Made no sense at all to me. I mean, again, I'm not 100% with it, so it's perfectly normal for me right now. Adok.
Yeah, I had a couple, but take it up. I did like the conversation between Emilia and Karnos, and towards the end, Karnos was like, "I perfectly got it. I understand it. It's you want an owl teddy bear hug combo, just to put everything into the one." I was like, that's so far from what she was saying, but okay. And also at the start as well for that chat with the, did you think that I think that you think something else?
We always know those moments are coming.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I got a couple others. I mean, I will say as well, I have to agree, Zadriel's changing of form and the opening of her new tenants was really cool. It was really, really cool. And just the RP and discovering new abilities instead of just waking up one day and going, I know how to do this. You actually like RPing it out, which is cool. And I'm losing my voice.
As you do. Bibblesturb.
Everyone stole my favorite moment.
That's usually how it happens. I mean,
Yeah.
I go
Well,
last. Everyone steals mine, so.
Yeah, I enjoyed the conversation in between Emilia and Kanos. That I really did enjoy that part. Same as when at the beginning when Zedriel lost her temper with me.
Yes, that was an interesting moment.
Yeah.
Standing over poor old Pibble. Just
I'm
imagine
sitting
this 6 foot something armored freaking angel with flaming wings standing over a little rock gnome.
The thing is, I was actually sitting there and I was looking at one of my potions, and it allows me to cast the Alter Self potion. It's the Alter Self. And I'm sitting there going, shit, it doesn't allow me to change my size. I have to stay in the same size category. So I'm sitting there
Damn.
going, crap. I'm going,
That would have been funny, but crap.
But yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much they were my 2 favorite moments.
Awesome.
And trying to sell Adok.
Why not? Why not sell him while he's asleep?
You wouldn't
Zedriel.
get much.
Oh, you never know.
Emily in the cart was a good one. I liked Adok running around saying, I don't know what to do, and casting grease everywhere. And I also liked the smiting, trying to conjure a horse, and smiting the ground. That was fun.
The worst part of that is I wasted my only smite spell slot, so I could have used that in the fight.
Well, at least, again, it's RP, and I think you're RPing that exceptionally well. I think it plays into Karnos's whole way of doing things beautifully. And lastly, Emilia, who's dead but still with us.
Yeah, I've got a few. Karnos saying Strahd, Emilia. Stromalia. That's just like, yeah, that's good. Zadriel saying, Furble, you're supposed to be a genius. Just like, ooh, bruh. Somebody said, do gingers have souls? Can't remember.
I don't remember hearing that either, but
Karnos.
probably Karnos.
Zadriel saying, Furble, get the fuck out of my way.
Yeah, that was definitely a cool moment.
And the whole getting down the tower thing, like when they're like, you have to get down the tower. It's just like,
I mean, yeah, dude,
Like-
honestly, I expected everyone just to jump across the 12-foot gap. It's a simple athletics check.
Yeah.
I mean, you're all exhausted, so it was a disadvantage, and you would have only fallen 20 feet if you had failed, so you wouldn't have taken huge amounts of damage. And it's like, and Karnos had the right idea. Hang down, you're going to drop 10 feet instead of 20, maybe 15 at the most, and still take fuck all damage. But you had to do it an interesting way. But it was good. It made for interesting RP and some interesting moments. Either way. And I learned a little bit about monks with the different abilities that monks have at the higher levels, because I don't have a monk at that level yet. So.
Ah, cool. Yeah, so we got Mina and Magic put up what they like.
I did see that, and Lady Litany as well. So we had Lady Litany with that story was about us from Karnos. And where was Mina's one? It was a bit cramped back there. I don't swing that way. That was from Karnos as well. And Ash Soul from Magic. I was waiting for the Ash Hole thing, but it became out the Ash Soul, which is kind of the same.
Oh, Fables.
For Whistle had marshmallows after burning the white to death. Yes, so they were my version of a white, so slightly different stats than your regular whites, which is why they didn't fall over in the grease. They were immune to being made prone. But it was cool. Just a little bit of a twist on the zombies, which made things a little different. So, but for me, again, yes, the Zadriel transformation at the start was something that we had talked a little bit about over the last couple of weeks, because Zadriel's been umming and ahhing about possibly changing tenants for a little bit of time now, and wondering how she could possibly do it and remain with the same deity, or whether it was even possible. We discussed it, and that's what we came up with. So I think it went pretty well, and obviously the change in Zadriel's attitude will be more apparent as the story continues now, because of her whole tenets changing and her oath changing. So for those that may not have picked it up, it was Oath of Ancients, I believe, first. It's now the Oath of Vengeance. Just to give you a bit of context. So, it was a good way to start the session. It was something I sort of undone about. Do I do it first, or do I wait till the next rest, or do we do it at some other point? Well, no, we'll do it right before the sun's light. The sun comes up, beginning of the day. Kind of makes sense. He's been awake all night thinking about it and thinking on what's happening and stewing on it, not having any sleep whatsoever. Kind of made sense to do it then, which is pretty cool. As far as any other moments concerned, yeah, I think everybody does well with the RP moments. Fibbles comments overall, just generally hilarity. And Karnos being Karnos. Adok being Adok whenever he does something wrong. I mean, the apology to Fibble about almost shooting him with a firebolt right in the middle of the battle and things like that. It's always a lot of fun. And of course,
Adok said fireball at one stage.
He did.
I was like, oh, where
I was
we
thinking,
go?
that's what I was thinking, saying, do you have fireball? If you do, this is going to be so cool.
I really wish I did. But
Drop
no,
a fireball in the centre of the road.
Gets up high enough level.
I don't think they don't. I don't think they get fireball as a native spell. I think
I do because of my subclass type,
Yeah.
artillerist, but I won't get that high enough.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys won't get high enough to get it, but you can still get it as a spell scroll or the necklace of fireballs or anything like that. So it's still a possibility. You just never know. I might just throw it in there for good measure to see what happens. Get someone to inadvertently fireball the group, because that's just fun. Because why not? So, without any further ado, I don't think we've got anything else to say. As I said, tomorrow, I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing tomorrow night. I will be playing it by ear. If I'm here, I'm here. If I'm not, I'm not. Hang out in the Discord. I will post in the Discord whether I'm going to stream or not, and probably what we're doing. If I do, it'll more than likely be Rainbow Six. The old Pew Pew Thursdays. Actually, I haven't done that for a couple of weeks now, so we'll probably definitely look at doing that. If I don't, I won't, obviously, because reasons. So, who are we going to raid, peoples? Do we have anyone in particular we would like to raid? Who is on our list? Lost Archives is on. Michael is an Ewok. He's doing Dark Souls. We raided him last week. We raided him on Sunday. Oh, look, Era's running. Is Era due to finish? Probably is.
No, he started about halfway through ours. So.
It's only been going for 40 minutes.
Tainted Filth's also doing Vampire Masquerade.
Oh, is he?
I believe.
Oh, is he doing Blood Hunt or?
Yeah, Blood Hunt. If you're interested.
We'll raid Era. We'll keep it in the family.
Cool.
He's only been running 40 minutes, so we'll go over and raid Mr. Era Code. We all know him. Why is my raid thing not working? On my dashboard, my quick actions working. So strange. Reload. Here we go. Mr. Error. Starting raid. Here we go. Alright guys, we will see you maybe tomorrow. If not, we'll see you on Friday on Yanti's channel for some Stormlord's Wrath. And then back here Sunday for Curse of Dusk Hollow. Bye.